So, good evening, everybody. You're welcome to this week's FX Outlook with Great White FX. We'll be going over the following pairs: the US NASDAQ 100 or US 100, dollar index, Euro USD, GBPUSD, gold, Euro GBP, pound GBP, pound Swiss francs, pound yen, and we might just look at pound and dollar yen. There's something I see on dollar yen. So without wasting so much of your time, let's get down to what we have. So before we start, we're going to look at what the major news events for the day. We're going to look at the major news events for the day, for the week. So we have high impact news coming out on Tuesday during the European session. And we don't have so much in news. I always watch out for high impact news like rate news or labor news like that. So Euro might have some activity this week. So let's get down to the chart. So we're going to start off with NASDAQ. So we're going to start off on the daily time frame. Let's see. So let me start off with, I'll start off with US 100 because most people, that is what they have on their chart. So if we look at the US 100, we're going to start on let's start on the weekly time frame so that we get an idea of how the weekly candle closed for the previous week. So let me see. The network season. Fire. Hello, can you guys still hear me? Okay, so this is the previous week. No. So this is the previous week. This is a bearish close on the weekly. Again, but long term, this pair is bullish on the weekly. Long term is bullish on the weekly. This points to a retracement. Doesn't mean a reversal, a retracement. Because this is a dark cloud. This is a dark cloud pattern. And on the weekly time frame, it's most often bearish. But this might be a retracement to move higher. So if we go into the daily time frame, so let's look into the daily time frame. So looking at the daily time frame, this is still bullish. But we have a short-term change of character here. We have a short-term change. Hello, can we unmute our mics, please? Keep your mics on mute. Keep your mics on mute, please. Thank you. So we have a short-term break here. But if you look at where price is at this imbalance between here and here. You get, so this might just be a move to rebalance and continue higher. So be it as it may, let's go to the 4 hours. So we'll go down to the 4 hour. The 4 hour is basically on the downside. The 4 hour is on the downside. Because if we look at this, we have the break of this swing low here. So the 4 hour is on the downside. So for now, on the lower time frames, this pair is still down. On the 1 hour and the 4 hour, it is down. On the daily and the weekly, it is bullish. So what you have to do is you will trade the time frame you're looking at. You need to be aware of that. So for for NASDAQ 1 hour, for it to turn bullish, you need to see, let me put in my annotations. You need to see a break above here. Once you see a break above here, why? If you go down to your 15 minutes, you will get the picture clearer. Now, you have a low, you have a high, have a lower low. So once either of, I would prefer this because this will be more strategic than this. Once this high breaks, what do I mean by a break? It closes above it. You have a short-term shift in market structure. That means that the lower time frame will now start lining up with the higher time frame. That means you can only then take a long position. But for now, on the 4 hour and the 1 hour, this pair is on the downside. Is on the downside. So you have two options here. If you ask me to give a view of when will it turn bullish, either price creates a reversal position here or this high gets taken out. Once this high gets taken out, then they'll start moving lower. But as long as this high holds, any rally might be an opportunity to go lower. So that's it for NASDAQ 100. 4 hour daily, still slightly bullish. 4 hour and 1 hour bearish for now. So the next one we're going to look at is the dollar index. So looking at the dollar index, this pair went ballistic last week. Ballistic. We have a low, we have a high, we have a lower low. So there is a bullish breaker on the daily time frame for this pair. So this pair is classically bullish, but we have this point here. We have this unmitigated bearish order block on the daily time frame. So you might get a little bit of a pullback, maybe Monday, Tuesday, before this continues to the upside. So we need to be aware of that. Monday, Tuesday, before we continue to the upside. Maybe price may try to fill all these imbalance, but on this time frame, it's still heavily bullish. That's 4 hour bullish, 1 hour bullish. But the daily is bullish, but it's coming into a structure point. So if it doesn't break here, then it might correct a bit before moving back higher. So the dollar index for now, 4 hour and 1 hour, and daily to a large extent are still bullish. So the next one we're going to look at is EURUSD. So looking at the EURUSD, the EURUSD is heavily bearish. It's pretty bearish. So this pair, the best play on this pair will be looking to sell into rallies on this pair because this low has been broken below. So this is your dealing range from this point to this point on the daily. But if you drop down to a lower time frame, or better still, you can use last week's high to this week's low. You can use that, it will be this point to this point here. That will be your dealing range. So any rally into this point will give you an opportunity to go short. So for EURUSD, you'll be looking to sell into rallies. So GBPUSD past pound dollar. Looking at the GBPUSD, the same thing to the GBPUSD is bearish. It's bearish, but it's bouncing from this point here. So for this pair, the same thing too with EURUSD, you look to sell into rallies. Unmitigated areas on the chart. So if you look at your 4 hour, this is your dealing range to the downside. And sticking out so many lows. So any formation here will give you an opportunity to go long. If you're going long, you know it's counter trend. If you decide to go long, it's counter trend because the prevailing position, the prevailing direction for this pair is down. You can even see on the daily, we have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high. So we have a bearish mitigation on the daily. So this pair may rally to move lower. So the next we're going to look at is gold. So looking at gold is, if we look at this from the daily time frame, this is an impulse. So this most likely is looking like a retracement on the daily time frame. But if we look at where price is, if we look at the lower time frame, if we look at the 4 hour, well, the 4 hour, there's been a breakover. So this pair for now is bearish. But the possibility exists that we might see a little bit of a retracement before it move lower. Are we all on the same page? So the possibility exists that we might see a move down before we see a move lower. But if price should start to turn to the upside, you need to see something like this. Maybe this low, price may rally, move lower, then come back up. Once it takes out the neckline and drops and doesn't take out this low, then you have a counter trend. Then you can join the retracement. If not, you just wait for price to rally. We have this here. We have this point here. And I think we have here also. These are points where price may try to rebalance before moving lower. So for this pair is still bearish. Gold is still bearish. The next pair is Euro Pound. Euro Pound, the Euro Pound is looking slightly bullish, but it has this major structure point here, and you can see price has rejected from there. They swept liquidity here, pricing closed above this on the daily. So this is still mixed on the daily. But if we go down to the 4 hour, we can clearly see down the 4 hour, this pair looks bullish. So any pullback on this pair might be an opportunity to go long. Because if we look at this high, price has practically closed above it. So as you can see, this was the impulse, this was the retracement, and this is the move higher. Are we all on the same? Can you all still hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear you. Yes.
So
Yes,
that's
I can hear
for
you.
Euro Pound. Then the next pair is Pound CHF. So Pound CHF is still bearish. Pound CHF is still bearish. So for this pair, any rally will be an opportunity to go short. But how deep the rally can go is what I can see. As you can see, it's broken this. So we have this high to this low. So any move into this place will be an opportunity to move lower. So if we go into your 4-hour time frame, this is what you're looking at. Your first spot will be this. We have all these imbalance. Then we have this. Then we have this area here. So you can see. So you may see something like this. Then price may move down. So you just have to bear that in mind. This pair is bearish. So any rally is going to create an opportunity to go short. So if we look at it on the 1 hour, we seem to be having a kind of move. Let me go to the lower time frame. Let me go to the 15-minute and get a clearer picture. Well, on the 15-minute, we seem to have something here. On the 15-minute, we have something here. You can see we have a low. We have a low, we have a high. So the retracement has already started. So you have this on the 15-minute here, and you have this structure point here for possible points of interest for short positions. So the next pair we're going to look at is pound yen. So looking at the pound yen, let's see. So looking at the pound yen, this pair, I can basically see, if you look at it on the daily, it's in a consolidation. As you can see, it's in a consolidation on the daily. If you look on the 4 hour, we have this impulse here. So this might just be a retracement to move higher. price is sitting within an imbalance here. Let me see. Yes, price is sitting at the 50% of this imbalance. So if this area holds, it might continue to the upside. And if you already use your fib from this point to this point, that's a 50% of this range. So this pair on the lower time frame, there's a possibility it might rally on the 4-hour. There's a possibility because as you can see, it's within a big range. So where it is now, if it doesn't go lower, it means it will rally to either any of these highs. So pound yen has a bullish bias. So the next pair we're going to look at is a euro. That was something I said I saw on the pound, on the dollar yen. So let's look at it together. So if we look at the dollar yen, so looking at the dollar yen, just clearly you can already see it where price is. This is an unmitigated bearish order block. So this might give a good opportunity for a counter move down before a continuation to the upside. But this pair is bullish. You have to bear that in mind. This pair is bullish. So any move down might be an opportunity to go long. So is there any pair anybody who want me to look at before we call it a night? Or any questions? Okay. So in the absence of any questions, I wish everybody a beautiful night's sleep and a blessed week ahead.
Thank you very much.
So in the absence, so good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night.